bá ẹlòmíì tí wọ́n bá wọn lọ́mọ ìpè class. Mo sọ for lọ́wọ́ tẹ́lẹ̀ ṣí bẹ́ẹ̀ tá ti rí Sister Rahma abẹ́lé mi wá kíláàsì. Àwọn best student wa.
wọ́n tún mú mi yàwàrà tó tàbí náà.
Àwọn ni mo ti tọ́jú ẹ̀ láti má dá láwùn. Ok, ó dàbí pé mo ti ṣe wọn bá tí mo lè ṣe ń bẹ̀. Àwọn tó ti káwọn náà fún my class. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد بن عبد الله خاتم النبيين وإمام المرسلين وعلى أهله وصحبه من تبعه بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. Okay, I welcome everyone of us to class. Don't please I'll be code switching, like between English and Yoruba. I'm not that fluent in Yoruba, so I'm not carbon out how best to see it. Alright, so I welcome everyone of us to class. Just like I said, um, it's promised to be an interesting one, inshallah. And I said our staff has done so well to share the slides that we're going to use for this class. So, but I have one culture, even though it's been a while we've done that, I have one culture. I love to start every Islamic gathering like this with a Quran invitation. I don't mind. So if anyone can volunteer, or and in the next 30 seconds, if I not say not to volunteer, I'm choosing anyone, please. And it's the power vested in me as the class captain. If I choose you, you have to talk, please. Okay, so anyone just volunteer to recite 10 points in the next 30 seconds, please. I'm seeing brothers here. I'm not legislating that it should be sisters, so I'm seeing brothers here. Okay, anyone that can recite shout to Munafikun, please. Before I choose, it starts at the batting. Is it allowed that I choose a sister? It's not at batting. Oh,
No.
okay, start batting. It is allowed, Abby. Okay.
What's that?
So I asked someone to recite to Munafikun for us, like, no one is unmuting their mic. So I now want to choose someone. So I'm not asking, is it
You want to kill someone?
subhanallah. I want to choose someone to recite
Okay,
it.
choose
So I was
someone.
not asking. So I was not asking if it is allowed to choose a sister, but it's not what last said no. No problem. So brother Ismail, what I say, I tell you now. Brother Ismail, ó kọ yín ni mo kọ́ rí. So ẹ̀ka sọ́ọ̀tì mi náà fi tẹ̀ fún wa. Ẹ lè wo ní Quran náà. I'm sorry, brother Ismail, are you with us, please? Hey, brother, beg. Assalamu alaikum. Okay, I don't think he's here. Who is the one using Adekunle, please? I'm just really class carpet to talk in the guy. Who's using Adekunle? Subhanallah.
نعم.
Hey, bon, brother. So Hafiz, Yakumullah, Ejo. Ẹ bá fi ọlá yín ní fọ́dùlùkùn, ẹ bá ka sọ́ọ̀tù mọ̀tọ̀fíkì.
إذا المنافقون هم مطففين.
منافقون نعم.
أوكي. سبحان الله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إذا اتخذوا أيمانهم جنة فصدوا عن سبيل الله إنهم ساء ما كانوا يعملون ذلك بأنهم آمنوا ثم كفروا فطبع على قلوبهم فهم لا يفقهون وإذا رأيتهم تعجبك أجسامهم وإن يقولوا تسمع لقومهم كأنهم خشب مسندة يحسبون كل صيحة عليهم هم العدو فاحذرهم قاتلهم الله أنى يؤفكون وإذا قيل لهم تعالوا يستغفر لكم رسول الله وإذا قيل لهم تعالوا يستغفر لكم رسول الله لووا رؤوسهم ورأيتهم يصدون وهم مستكبرون سواء عليهم أستغفرت لهم أم لم تستغفر يهدي القوم الفاسقين هم الذين يقولون لا تنفقوا على من عند رسول الله هم الذين يقولون لا تنفقوا على من عند رسول الله حتى ينفضوا ولله خزائن السماوات والأرض ولكن المنافقين لا يفقهون يقولون لئن رجعنا إلى المدينة ليخرجن الأعز من الأذل ولله العزة ولرسوله وللمؤمنين ولكن المنافقين لا يعلمون يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تلهكم أموالكم ولا أولادكم عن ذكر الله ومن يفعل ذلك فأولئك هم الخاسرون وأنفقوا مما رزقناكم من قبل أن يأتي أحدكم الموت فيقول رب لولا أخرتني إلى أجل قريب فأصدق وأكن من
Jazakumullah khairan. Allahumma hamad bil Quran. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant our stars the essence of recitation and also us the word of listening. Okay, so I think this short enough it will form a basis of what we are going to discuss tonight. That was why the stars requested for it. So just like I did say at the beginning of every class prior to my absenteeism. Okay, so let's change our intention or renew our intention to want to gain knowledge about the Prophet Sallam and have a better insight about him and choosing him as a role model in our era. So yeah, because Prophet Sallam is the best we can choose as a role model because both his private life and his public life would actually be emulated to any extent that we could not even emulate it to the highest standard. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepted me what we do and guided each other. So now we're going to move straight into the lecture. So the professor Bell must be a source from the land.
Hello.
Now, Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Now, I believe I can be heard clearly.
Yes, sir.
Alhamdulillah. So, gbogbo àwọn protocol yẹn ẹ mọ̀ bó tó kẹ́ ṣe fún ẹ̀. But then, alhamdulillah. So, Jazakumullah khair, Ustaz Musab and Sheikh Mustafa. Jazakumullah khair. Allah is with them. So, like you said, sort of good is part of what we are going to be doing tonight. I like the fact that you said that we should decide before we start. So, deciding it. I believe all of us are going to be in class till we learn what like the link in I want to start code. I could remember when we were discussing about reasons why we need to study Sarah. We told us one of the major reasons like studying the Sarah is simply studying the Quran. You understand? Because it talks about the life of the person that the Quran was sent to. That's what Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So you should be rest assured that whenever you learn a scene and you are able to connect it to okay, this particular incident happened, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed this. That is automatic sababun nuzul of that particular surah or that particular ayah lens. Last week we mentioned the same thing of when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed that Iqra him. And this is a very familiar verse that all of us, but with the way we are learning the Surah in the order that we are learning, shows that okay, this is when it happened, this is the exact time, this is what is happening in the last one. I mean the last subhanahu wa ta'ala to reveal this particular verse. 2 weeks or 3 weeks before last week, we learned about Surah Al-Hash. And Ustaz Abdul Batin, he helped us with the explanation of Surah Al-Ashr from the beginning to the end. And we're able to link it with the incidents that happened in Banu Nazir. So if we are to be asked that, okay, what is the Sabbath Nuzul or what is the cause of revelation of Surah Al-Ashr? The image that we created for ourselves about the incidents of Banu Nazir should come to our head and then the whole Surah will be understood. Now, the same thing, inshallah, we are going to be doing that tonight as regard Surah Al-Munafiqun. So another thing is that we've been talking about Munafiqun ever since Abdullah ibn Ubay accepted Islam after Battle of Badr. For us to see that Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was not only battling with the pagans, he was not only facing the Quraysh that were not, or let me say the Arabs that were not accepting Islam now. He's even facing an internal battle from those that claim to be Muslims, but they were Munafiq. And it is so easy for Abdullah ibn Ubay because Abdullah ibn Ubay was a leader among the Arabs of Medina before Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam came in. So when Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam came in, he pretended to be a Muslim. He formed his own group out of the Muslims, and then they started victimizing Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Like it's so difficult for Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam to fight them because they are claiming to be a Muslim. We are going to see some reasons for this. The last Ta'ala guide our tongue and keep us understanding of what we are going to be learning tonight. Now, I would have said that we go through the quizzes that were sent today, but I think everybody, the last time I checked, everybody participated. Everybody got the answer right, except for someone who missed the first one. I think that's why we able to do the correction. But I'm not proud with the fact that we had 12 people that participated. So I was 11 people minus myself. 11 people that were in class last week. So I expected 11 responses because I knew that 11 people learned it. And I'm starting of that. But then the last time I checked, it was about 5 people that responded. So if we do not want the quiz, just let me know so that I won't be, you understand, I
Eight,
won't be taking
eight actually. Eight
now.
actually, yourself. Eight. I'm fighting for my
You
classmates.
said
It was eight actually that responded. Eight people actually responded.
I started preparing for this night's class by 7 o'clock, and it was 5 people that responded. And like, you know that we do have deadline for the quiz now. It was only 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock. You understand? So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ease it. It's even good that it is 8 now, alhamdulillah. So let's encourage ourselves. One of the benefits of taking the quiz is that no matter what, even if you are very lazy like me and then you were not able to go through your lessons like what you wrote down in the last class, By the time you go to the quiz, to prepare you for what we are going to be learning in that night. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. And I'm certain that some of us we don't even have our notes again. Those that have it are not opportunity. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is it for us. So let those that are keeping up with that continue to do that, and those that are interested in writing their notes back, let them get their notes and update it. It's going to be very beneficial for us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is it for us. Now we don't need to go through any revision of what we learned last week because in the last 34 classes, we've been saying the same thing about the incidents that happened between Battle of Uhud and Battle of Ahzab. So we are continuing on that. By the time we want to do the next class, we have to revise what we are learning today. So let's not go back to what we learned last week. Basically, all that we discussed last week is the battle of Hassan and Hussein. Can I remember? I cannot remember. Let's go into the expedition of Muraysi, expedition of Muraysi. Now, as we know that, um, unlike or how we used to know about the battles or the expedition that Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam took part in, we know of majorly, let's say, maximum of five, six, or seven Battle of Badr, Uhud, Ahzab. But I believe that right now, even before we get to the Battle of Ahzab that we used to know as the fourth major battle, we've discussed more than 15 expeditions to show us that Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was going to one expedition after the other. He's not going to be there, he's going to send he's going to send a Sahaba to lead them, and we made difference. Who can remember the difference between the expedition that Prophet Sallallahu took part in and the one that did not take part in? Who can remember the two keywords or the word that we use for the expedition that Prophet Sallallahu took part in and the expedition that he did not take part in? Anybody in class can clap it? Yeah. Is anybody
Okay,
responding?
Saraya àti Goswa. Saraya is the one that the Prophet Sallam sent someone, and Goswa is the one that he fought him.
No, Gazwa to Nabi. Ìyẹn kò ní ìkáwọn kó máa dàrú máa lójú. Gazwa is the one that Prophet Salam took part in. The one he led, the one he took part in. So Saraya is the one that he sent someone. You understand?
Yes, but is it for my end alone? I think now,
You said?
like the service is not the network. I think the network is breaking. I don't know. I don't know if it is from my side alone because I'm actually using
I
Glow.
can hear you. Then if the network is from my end, just tell me so that I can rectify it earlier. Now, so we
So please,
established that.
anything that is not
It
from
is
them, please just signify or write it in.
okay. Please, if you can hear me clearly, let me know, please. Now, nobody's responding, to Hannah.
No, move on. No, no.
Okay, alhamdulillah. So I said that goes back to Nabi, goes back to Badr, so all those ones Prophet Sallallahu to fascinate. So now let's proceed to what we want to learn tonight, which is expedition of Muraysi. Now, expedition of Muraysi is another expedition on its own, and after the Battle of Badr, that was an all-out war between the Muslims and the Quraysh. Now, there are some there are some tribes that are surrounding Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. These tribes, they are allies of Quraysh, but they are closer to Medina. So because they are closer to Medina, they are making plans to um, to attack Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, to give Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam his surprise attack. We've spoken about the assassination of Abdullah ibn Khalid ibn Sufyan by Abdullah ibn Qunais. Khalid ibn Sufyan was planning to attack Medina. We've spoken about the expedition of Abu Salama. Abu Salama, the expedition he went to, they were planning to attack Medina also. Now, this expedition of Muraisi also, the Muraisi is the name of the well, that the name of the area is Muraisi. The tribe that are in Muraisi are called Banu Mustalak. So, in case you hear it as expedition of Banu Mustalak or you are familiar with either of the two, they are talking about the same expedition. Expedition of Muraisi is also known as expedition of Banu Mustalak. Banu Mustalak are those living in Muraisi. So either you call it Muraisi or Mustalak. So either way, yeah, yeah. Anyway, if you are putting this down, just write it too. It's good for you. And I believe that you have the screen to help you out while you take your notes down. So Um, these people, their tribal leader is Al Harith. So we need the information. We need the name of Al Harith so that that's why I'm mentioning it again. So that the tribal leader is named Al Harith, and then they have one major idol. They have one major idol, and the idol is Manat. These are quick questions. Manat, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned Manat in Quran for you to know that it's as big as Uzal. You understand? We've mentioned Uzal, we've mentioned major idols of Arabs at the beginning. So they have Manat. Allah said, "Wa Manat as-Salifat al-Ukhra." So these are the main idol of Banu Mustalak. And also, it is said that Banu Mustalak they have an alliance with with Abdul Muttalib. Abdul Muttalib, the grandfather of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Meaning that while Abdul Muttalib was the leader of Quraysh, he had an alliance with them that they are going to be doing things together and them they are going to be having a peaceful coexistence between themselves. So they had an alliance with them, which made Banu Muttalib to support the Quraysh in the Battle of Uhud. Now, Banu Mustalak, they are located in the south of Medina, meaning that they are between Medina and Mecca, and they supported the Quraysh during the Battle of Uhud. You know that when people have an alliance, they have people. Banu Mustalak being close to Medina, it threats to Medina because they are in support of Quraysh. You understand? So, Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam now got the information. He got to know that Banu Mustalak they are planning to attack. They are planning to attack Medina. Are we all following this? So, yeah, following, just respond, please, so I can continue peacefully. So, they are planning to attack Medina, and then Prophet Sallallahu got to know. So when Prophet Sallallahu got to know, he heard of this information that the Muraysi, or let me say the Banu Mustalak, they are planning to attack Medina. He now said, okay, for us to proceed, we are going to attack them first. We are going to fix a all-out battle. Let's confirm if they are planning truly. So Prophet Sallallahu now sent one of the companions, one of the very wise companions by the name Buraida, or not Buraida ibn Hasib. He sends the companion, take his time also. Buraida ibn Hasib was the name of the companion that he sent. And this particular story, if you have read short these different, you must have come across it. They talk about the wisdom of the Sahaba. So he mentioned Buraida ibn Hasib. He sent Buraida ibn Hasib to Banu Mustalak. So Buraida now pretended to be a Bedouin, an Arab Bedouin, and then he went to the tribe of Banu Mustalak and he met their leaders. He now said, I heard that you are planning to attack you are planning to attack Medina. You understand? So is there a way I can help so that I can benefit from the war booty? You understand? He stated his reason, he stated how he wants to help. And then he's physically fit, he looks like a warrior, but like an Arab Bedouin. They are never going to think that he's a Muslim. So they now said, okay, no problem, you can join us in the preparation. So in the night, Buraida just ran away. He found his way, and then he ran back to Medina, and then he told Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam that it is very true that these people are coming to attack us. You understand that Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam did not just listen to information. He went on to verify it. You understand? So he verified it, and then he confirmed that the Banu Mustala, they are planning to attack him. Now, Banu Qurayza, sorry, don't mix it up. If I make mistake, you know the term we are talking about. Yes, the Banu Mustala, they were they were planning. They were never ready to go and execute the attack. You understand? But Prophet Sallallahu got to know. So the next morning, Prophet Sallallahu just took the Sahabas and then he said, let's go and face them before they come to us. So he took 700 warriors, 700 men, 700 Sahabas, let's put it like that. So he took them and then he proceeded to Banu Mustalak. So Mustalak. So when he got there, it is said that they were unprepared at all. Now is there at their door. It is said that they were even grazing their sheep just early morning. The women were going to fetch water. Like the environment was just a normal morning, not a war morning. You understand? So when the Prophet Sallallahu they had no option than to surrender. So it was not an outright war, except for some few stubborn people, about 10 people that chose to say, okay, yeah, we are strong man. They chose to fight 700 people that we saw. So all those 10 were killed, and then it is said that one of the Sahabas was mistakenly killed also in that battle. So that out of the 700 people that went, just one Sahaba died, and then about 10 from their end, and then the rest of the whole tribe was captured on the slave. You understand? So this is the brief summary of what of what Banu Mustalak um, of what Banu Mustalak expedition is. You understand? Or we say expedition of Muraysi, what it is. But it's so expedition of Muraysi is so important in the Seerah that you cannot just skip it. The only issue with expedition of Muraysi in the Seerah is that some scholars they argue about the date that it happened, the year, the date. They have an argument about how it happened, and then the book that we are following, that of Sheikh Yasser Kodi mentioned it in this time, so we should follow it this time, so we won't miss it out of our lesson. In Rahik al Maktoum is saying that they posted it about about after Honda, you understand? But now it is posted before Honda, and a lot of schools have been made of why it is supposed to be this time. And that's not what our interest is, just about learning because benefiting from the incidents that happened. So it is said that expedition of Muraisi is so important, not because of the battle itself, but because of pretty major things that happened after the battle. So it means that we are just passing our lesson this interesting story because it's interesting for us because the Muslim one now fine, but we have more details and more beneficial things to learn from what happened after expedition of Muraisi. Are we following? Now, um, okay, after the battle was okay. Now let's first talk about the one of the Sahaba that lost his life. You know, I said that okay, the entire tribe has been captured as a slave. It is said that some of the tribal leaders, when they saw the army, they ran away. You understand? Including Al Hadis, who is tribal leader, so he ran away also. And then the women, they were not prepared to run, so it's only those that were physically fit, and then they have, some Muslims still that could run away. But others, they were captured, and then it means that the whole of the city were captured except for few that ran away, and except for few that died, tried to prove that they're a strong man, and then their strongness was their weakness was exposed, like that. So, um, one the Sahaba that died, let's put it here because by the time we go into the other story, you're already to come back. The Sahaba that died, his name is I think I have that in my slide. Let me scroll down for us. I don't delete the screen. Okay, I'm coming. Let me scroll down and then I'll use that to explain. Okay, the Sahaba that died, his name is his name is Isham ibn Subaba, if I'm right. Let me not just mention any name. So, so these names are important for us to take down. What's his name? His name is Hisham, I'm right. So his name is Hisham ibn Subaba. So he was mistakenly killed by an Ansar in the battle, you understand? And when a mistake like this made, the Muslim looked at Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is always praying, he will play here to the family, you understand? Because it's a mistake, you understand? It's like it's all life. When the physical fighting happened or the kuffar killed this particular person. If it is the kuffar that killed, then it's going to be matter. You understand? But if it is the Muslim that is taking killed another Muslim, it's going to be Dia is going to be required. That Dia is 100 camels. So we've established it. So Isham ibn Subaba, he has a brother named Mikias ibn Subaba. Mikias ibn Subaba is a notable enemy of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. That subhanallah, a lot happened about him and he's placed in category. If you are going to categorize him, just put him in the like of Ayub ibn Abi Mu'izz, Abu Jahl, all those people that we've done many, not many years ago, but about 1 year ago. Alhamdulillah, that we've come this far. So, Mikias, when he heard the news that his brother had been mistakenly killed by an Ansar, and he knew that Prophet ﷺ is going to pay him diya, that is 100 camels, he now pretended to accept Islam and then he came back. So when Prophet ﷺ got back to Medina, he pretended to accept Islam, then he went to meet Prophet ﷺ that his brother has been killed and he wants diya. You understand? He's a fake Muslim, you understand? But since he claimed to be a Muslim, Prophet ﷺ is not going to doubt him. So Prophet ﷺ now said, okay, he made arrangement for the diya, which is 100 camels. So you're going to see a big player here. So when it is in the night, Mikias now took the 100 camels and ran away with them. But before he ran away, he committed a dastard event. uh, he went into the tent of the Ansar that mistakenly killed his brother, and then he murdered him. You understand? After collecting dia, after collecting 100 camels, you understand? So then, after killing him, he ran away. So when he ran away, Salam was so upset with this. You can this is the height of betrayal. You came as a non, you were a non-Muslim, you faked Islam, we paid you dia, and then you still revenge. You understand? Unlike you just revenge because you want to revenge the death of your brother. And you don't even need to revenge him because he wants to steal. So this is like him stealing from Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And for those of us that are very familiar with the incidents of conquest of Mecca, his name was among those that Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam mentioned that if you meet Mikias ibn Subaba, dead or alive, just kill him. If you meet him dead, fine. If you meet him alive, just kill him before you bring it to me. And his name was among the six that were mentioned. Even though Prophet ﷺ eventually forgave half of them, but then his name was among them. Show you enmity that Prophet ﷺ has against him. Like, how can you do this to a prophet? He claims to be Subhanallah. Let's not dive into that, but we should note this. And in case eventually we get to um conquest of Mecca, and we are not able to discuss the events fully. We should be able to link it back to what he did in in what he did in Chiloruko, what he did in this Banu
The expedition.
yeah, this expedition that we discussed exactly. So now, after this that is for Mikias. Now the next major events that happen now is that Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam got married to another lady. You understand? So another lady was married to by Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Very interesting story. Let's see what happened. So after the whole tribe has been captured, by capturing them, they take them to Medina. There are a lot of war booties that the Muslims have taken. So they were all captured as slaves. When they got back to Medina, Prophet Sallallahu distributed all of the slaves, all of the tribe, you understand, he distributed them to the Ansar. Then they are now slaves to the Ansar. So one of the ladies, who is the daughter of Al Harith, named Juwayriya ibn Al Harith. Juwayriya ibn Hadith. If you're familiar with the wife of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam named Juwayriya bin Harith, and by saying wife of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, I meant meaning that our mothers of believers, part of our mothers of believers. That is Juwayriya bin Al Harith. And by now we've mentioned about 5 to 6 wives Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and we mentioned them while learning, like in order that he got married to them. So eventually, we want to talk about the wives generally, like bring them together. But I think it is certain learning about them, the way they are being married to. So we talked about Khadija, Aisha, Sauda, Khadija, Sauda, Aisha, Hafsa. We talked about Salama. This is how slavery in Islam works, not that it is the way we see it in American style. The last one of us all. So Juwaria now decided to approach the Sahaba that she was assigned to, that I want to buy my freedom. Now Sahaba said, no problem, if you can pay this particular amount. You understand? Now Juwaria has been captured on the stage. She does not have any access to her wealth again because she is now in Medina. So she now said, okay, let me approach Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, if Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam can help out. And you can imagine someone that has been captured at the stage thinking of meeting the tribal leader that captured at the stage, to show you that the capturing was not a inhuman capturing. It was a seizure, like, okay, we are here capturing you because you want to attack us, and we we acted first, so you are now our slave. You understand? So when she approached Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Aisha radiallahu anha, she narrated that when Juwayriya came in, when she knocked on their door and then she came in, Aisha radiallahu anha said that I hated her immediately. So what? Why will you hate her? Because she said, I know Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam will see what I see in her. You can imagine. And that is for marital discussion. Very interesting if I narrated it well and if you're able to understand. So that well, wife of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, you understand that type of woman what do we call it? Human jealousy. Yeah, let's just put it like that. So she said, I hated her, seeing knowing fully that Prophet Salam will see what I say in her. And it means that she doesn't have a bad appearance. So when she approached Prophet Salam that I need your help to pay the to pay off my, probably borrow me some loan to pay off uh, my, to buy myself, to buy my freedom. So Prophet Salam said, okay, there's no problem. I can offer you something better. Said, okay, what is that you offer me? He said, I will buy your freedom of the hell I'm going to get married to you. Meaning that the mahar of the nikah is going to be buying your freedom off. You understand? Because it's a slave now. So when Prophet Islam pay for the freedom, she, that's going to be a mahar. You understand? And then there is no consent of the father needed, because she's a slave. You understand? All these things are topics that if you want to treat them on their own, not that I want to treat them, but I cannot treat them. If we want to discuss them as a whole, they are topic of them. Like if you want to talk about the fiqh of slavery, we want to talk about the figure of Nikah. So all these things are things that it is important for us to look for a way to learn about them. And last one, Allah is it for us. So now, um, when she now agreed to marry Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, soon after this, Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, soon after this, the father of Juwayriya now came back to Medina. You know, he ran away earlier. Then he now came back to come and buy the freedom of his own people, his own tribe. So when he came, he approached Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam that I want to buy my own freedom. Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, you want to buy my own freedom? You want to buy upon Astaghfirullah. You want to buy the freedom of their people? Then he met with his daughter. That I want to buy the freedom. I want to buy you up the freedom. I want to buy your freedom. You understand? I want to set you free from this slavery that you are. So Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam told you, yeah, that it is left for her. Anything that she decides, like if you want to go back to your tribe, you can go back to your tribe. And that means that the marriage is going to be cut off. So Julia now said, no, that I'm going to stay with Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So by saying I want to stay with Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the father was moved. Like, what do you mean? The people that we were planning to attack before, now you stay with them for some time. You're now saying that you want to stay with them. What has he done? How has he done? Because she has seen the reality of Islam. You understand? And she's now saying that I'm not choosing my father. I'm not going back to my father again. I'm going to stay. So this impressed the father so much that for my daughter to have chosen to stay, it means that this religion is a good religion. So the father now accepted Islam. You understand? Father accepted Islam. And you know, we've mentioned that the father is a tribal leader. When the father accepted Islam and the whole tribe that has been captured as a slave now see that they have accepted, the father Al Harith accepted Islam, all of them accepted Islam. To see the beauty of Subhanallah. Give Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make his plan and we just cannot understand. These are the same people that were planning to attack Medina. They were planning to give a surprise attack, not even to come out as a man to man. They want to attack Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam by giving him a surprise attack. Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was the first to attack them. Then they were captured as a slave. Then the whole of them accepted Islam. When they accepted Islam, and then Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam have married the daughter of Juwayriya, have married the daughter of Al Haris, who is Juwayriya, the whole of the Sahaba now decided to start setting the uh, the tribes free. Those that were captured as slave girls, they are now a free man. So of course, he said it is not like they cannot bear it to hold the relative of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam as a slave. You understand? Like the in-laws of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam cannot be held as a slave while we are in Medina with him. So he said they now set them free without collecting any money. So what is happening basically here is that the whole tribe, without it actually fighting war, they were captured as a slave. Now they are going to be returning back to their tribe with their properties given back to them, included that they are now a Muslim. And this is the beauty. And these are many reasons, many wisdom connected to what it is impossible for us to understand about the numbers of wives of Prophet Muhammad. A lot of time we question is how why 9 wives, why 11 wives, why this thing? You cannot just understand because you were not there. Even those that were there, they just had to do some wafah. They cannot understand. Now we are seeing that this is the wisdom that is connected to Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam having more wives because Allah Subhanahu wa Taala increased population of Muslims through the multiple wives that he had. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But another reason that we mentioned before about some Sahabas that were there, he had to take care of their widows and the like. This is the situation then, and he was the prophet. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Call it Satan Laka, we we've explained this before. So now the same Aisha that said I hated her. Why saying her? Because I know Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam will see what I see in her. Now made another remark about Juwairiya. She said, I've never known of any lady who benefited her tribe more than Juwairiya. Because by marrying Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, she was able to make the whole of her tribe convert to Islam. You understand? So this is the same remark that Juwairiya bin Al-Haris had from Aisha. And she said that Juwairiya bin Al-Haris, she was one of the mothers of believers who is known for a good number of ibadah, for a lot of ibadah. And she was the one that was fasting on Friday. The Prophet ﷺ said, oh, you're fasting on Friday. Like he passed so much that she was fasting on Friday. And Prophet said, you're fasting on Friday. Did you fast on Thursday or you plan to fast tomorrow? She said, no, I did not plan to fast. I did not plan to fast yesterday. I did not plan to fast tomorrow. Prophet ﷺ said, no, you don't fast on Friday unless you have planned, unless you fasted on um, Thursday or you have plans to fast for the following day. So then she fasted the following day to make the correction that Prophet ﷺ made. And it is said that she is the one also that when that after Subhi, after they prayed Subhi, she was sitting she started doing ibadah, like doing a lot of azkar. Then around the Zuhr, the Prophet ﷺ came into her also and then entered. She still saw her on the same position. The Prophet ﷺ was amazed that did you mean you have been on the same position since morning that I left and then until this time? Then she said, yes, I've been doing ibadah, I've been doing azkar of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then Prophet ﷺ said that, let me teach you of one one azkar. Yeah, let me teach you of one azkar that if you make it 3 times, you are going to have more reward than what you've done for over all these hours. You understand? Prophet ﷺ said, you should say Subhanallah wa bihamdi, Subhanallah khalqi, wa ida nafsi, wa zinata arshi, wa mdada kalimat. I believe we are all familiar with this, and then this is a beautiful reminder for us to keep making that adhkar. To tell you that if you're able to do that adhkar 3 times, is the reward you are going to be getting is more than you making doing adhkar from between Subhi and Asr. That's about 6 hours. Like saying it for just 1 minute, 2 minutes that you're going to say it, depending on how fast or how slow you are, you are going to have the reward of making an account for more than 6 hours. You can imagine these are bonuses that we must benefit and we must keep doing and it must be in us, subhanallah. So, and if you're able to understand this, by the time you go into the meaning of that particular account, you are going to understand why you have that particular reward. It says Subhanallah wa bihamdi, Adada khalqi alone. You to try to imagine the meaning of Adada khalqi. To say that you are making Subhanallah on on everything that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created. That you cannot even number it, Subhanallah. The Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make all this azkar easier for us. So we are not talking about azkar, so we are just taking more time to talk about it. Then let's focus on the Seerah. But it's part of beneficial part that we must take and we must all keep doing in class. I will not look at time today because I must complete the fast that I plan to complete. So now, after this, that's one of the major incidents that we said that these are important things that made expedition of Muraysi worthy of studying. The other one is actually two. It's actually three. We have the marriage of Juwairiya bin Al-Harith. The second one is the incident of the Munafiqun that happened. The third one, subhanallah, is going to be very, very emotional because it deals with Aisha radiallahu anha, and we've heard about the slander that happened. So it's still caused by the Munafiq, but then we will not be able to do that tonight. Inshallah, the whole of next class is going to be for the slander of Aisha. In some book, it said the heinous slander of Aisha. Then I have to look for the dictionary to understand that. But then, the last one, ta'ala save us. Some says are uncomprehensible, lie. But then let's proceed to the next events that we have, which is the what happened when Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Okay, let's see the course of revelation of Surah Al-Mulk. Let's just put it like this. So back to Muraysi now. When the Sahabas they were done in Muraysi, then they had to start going back to Medina. So we are now in this time. Another incident happened here that we want to talk about before. We skipped to marriage of Juwairiya. So now let's understand the distance between Medina and Banu Mustala, or let's say Muraysi. So it's said that it takes about 2 days. And you know that when they are traveling as a caravan, even though our own caravan in this group, in this class, a lot of people are lost. Imagine, class captain is here and we've lost more than half of the members. Then class captain is still happy. So he's not doing his own thing. So Allah is it for us. So easy. So now they were traveling as a caravan. It means that by the time you travel, let's say for 2, 3 hours, you have to camp somewhere. You understand? You travel, you camp. Unlike now, you come our motor in Kolonsha. So they travel and camp, travel and camp. So in one of the camps that they have, one of the stopovers, let me put it like this: one of the stopovers that they have, an incident happened that two young Sahabas. It is said that one from the Muhajir, one from the Ansar. A fight happened between them. Normal fight, no big issue. In fact, interestingly, the cause of the fight was not mentioned to show us that what happened is a very trivial thing. When something trivial happens, then it eventually turns into something big. You should know that subhanallah, this is this is beyond this is beyond like subhanallah. We should just learn the good etiquette of being a Muslim. Then it will save us from a lot of troubles. So a trivial incident happened between two Sahabas, one from Muhajir, one from Ansar. It happened, and then it turns into physical fight between them. Physical fight that is meant to be separated by people. Hey, stop that. That's a good solution to that. Then while the fight was happening, the Ansar now said, if the Ansar, he now called upon the Ansar that come and help me against this Muhajir. Then the Muhajir called upon the Muhajir, oh Muhajir, come and help me against this Ansar. Then the the Muslims break into two. They broke up into two parts, meaning that the Ansar and Muhajir are now facing each other. Subhanallah, just because of something trivial. And then it is amazing that this is happening within the Sahaba. To tell us that we are not even close to being saved. May Allah only if Allah save us. You understand? So this happened, and then Prophet Sallallahu got to know. So when Prophet Sallallahu got the report of this incident, he came out to them, saw them divided into two groups. He now said, Prophet Sallallahu did not even bother to ask for what is happening. The Prophet Sallallahu said, this is Jahiliyyah that you are going back to. You are saying that my tribe and my tribe, instead of you sorting out what has happened, how can you be claiming that my tribe over my tribe? And subhanallah, a deep explanation derived from this incident is that we have people whom their classification has been testified to by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'm being serious here, and we should all be cautious for ourselves. Who their division, the division of Ansar and Muhajir is mentioned in the Quran, so there's nothing like their division is not right. You understand? The recognition, let me put it that it is not division. The recognition or the classification, yeah, of Ansar. These are Muhajir. Not they are all Muslims, but they are Ansar because they helped the Muhajir. They are Muhajir because they migrated. That is the title that is given to them. But now they are now finding themselves in fighting, causing separation. But we in this time our own classification is not even recognized. We don't even have any backup for it. We name ourselves Qadriya, we name ourselves Kinika, and then we start facing up ourselves to the extent of causing hatred, to the extent of Alhamdulillah for Salah. Some of us we cannot even deal with ourselves again just because of the division that we have created for ourselves. This is the division that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had no expectation on. We are only making decision. Then we are now claiming the party out of this. And Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam made this relation. He said, Abil Abil Dawat al-Jahiliyyah hadha, utrukuha fa innaha mumkina. Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, this is Jahiliyyah that you are practicing, causing division within yourself. I am Banu Hashim, I am Banu Taym, I am Banu Kinik, and then I'm not going to deal with you. I cannot. That is how Jahiliyyah operates. Then Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam leave it like a very disgusting habit. Then they all came back together. You understand? After being questioned by Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Then the big incident happened connected to this happening that when Abdullah ibn Ubay, he realized that the Muslims are breaking up, he was very happy that I'm sure I want Muhajir, I want to work Bali, I want to work. You understand that this disgusting mentality. Abdullah ibn Ubay was happy that this particular incident is happening. When he now realized that Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has told them and then they are all together now, he became very, very sad and very, very sad. You understand? That all the sadness has been expressed through his face. Then He now called his people. He now said, you have caused this on yourself. You understand? He used to see law because you were buried. Prophet Salah was control the situation. He called the Sahaba back and they listened. Fine. Abdullah ibn Ubay. He like mentioned that as well. Abdullah ibn Ubay. So he now brought another matter up. He said he started getting angry with the Ansar, especially those that were his party. You understand the Munafiqun. He said, you have caused it on yourself. Pé ìgbà wo làwọn Muhajiru wà ní ìwà náà tí wọ́n bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní ṣe kàbá lórí wa tó bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní bá wa jà. He now said that this Muhajir, they have competed with us in everything. For those that might be interested in the second slide, let me just share that because I'm not using the slide, I'm just narrating from another share. So if you have it, okay, let me go down. Uh, For those that might like to copy what I'm narrating. So Abdullah ibn Ubay, he now said they have competed with us in numbers, in houses, in farms. They have competed with us in everything that we hold. Now they are facing us physically. Then he made a very, very horrible statement for the Sahaba against the Muslims. That Prophet Sallallahu was inclusive. He said this is the same thing. This is the same thing that happens when the Arab says that fatten your dogs, then it's going to come back to you. You can imagine someone who claims to be a follower of Prophet Sallallahu saying this disgusting statement against the Muslims. You understand? Calling the Muslim dogs. Subhanallah. Who does this? So this is reality of what Munafiq can make you today. And let's not forget that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran that إِنَّ الْمُنَافِقِينَ فِي الدَّرْكِ الْأَسْفَلِ. That's that's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said. Even though we can learn about them to say to ourselves, okay, I'm not a munafiq. You cannot say that you are not a munafiq. So except that you keep worshiping Allah the right way that you start to worship. And then you keep saving your soul. Then every education that Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has given us about the munafiq, you keep staying away from it. It's a hard as a kaziba. You still talk and lie. Subhanallah. You are getting close to being a munafiq. My last save us from being a munafiq. So um that is for what Abdullah ibn Ubay said. So when he said this, it is now reported that one of the young Sahaba named Zayd ibn Harqam, another Zayd that I'm mentioning now. Don't mix it with Zayd ibn Thabit, don't mix it with Zayd ibn Haritha, don't mix it with Zayd ibn Amr. You understand? So another Sahaba, a very young Sahaba named Zayd ibn Harqam, he heard about this and then he was very surprised. How can someone who is a Muslim say this within his own group? Then Zayd ibn Harqam now went to tell his uncle that I heard this thing from Abdullah ibn Salul. Then his uncle said, are you sure? He said yes. Then he now said, subhanallah, I missed the particular verse I want to narrate because what the other thing that Abdullah ibn Ubay said. Then in the verse that Ustaz Mustafa recited for us in the I think the third to the last verse, Abdullah ibn Ubay said he said he mentioned this statement and you are going to see how horrible this man is. So he said so let me go. He said La irrojana ila al Madina. You understand? He said after he mentioned this last statement, he said, now are you reciting for me?
لئن رجعنا إلى المدينة ليخرجن الأعز من الأذل.
You can imagine how horrible someone is for Allah to be quoting him in the Quran. He said, La irrojana ila al Madina la yukhrijanna al-a'azzu min al-azal. He said, when we get back to Medina, we are going to show them what it takes. Like the honored one is calling themselves the honored one. They are going to show the, the dishonored one. Like we are going to not that we are going to show, we are going to expel them away. He's now only really can't say about them again. Oh my yeah, oh my yeah, oh my father. Now said like you're done in Medina, like you present as you we are going to send the the honorable one, Min al Hazal from the dishonored one. We are going to send them. So that's what he said. So Abdullah ibn Ubay heard this particular verse. Sorry, Zayd ibn Harqam, he heard this particular verse. Then he went to report to his uncle. His uncle said, are you sure you heard this? He said, yes. Then the uncle now posted to tell Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam that Zayd ibn Harqam said he heard this from Abdullah ibn Ubay ibn Salul. Then the whole of the Sahaba, the leaders of the Sahaba, especially Umar, Uthman, all those that were involved, they got angry. You understand? They got angry. And then we know Umar said, did he say this? He told Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, let me kill this man today. You understand? We know who Umar is. You don't even care. You don't even care to say that nonsense where Umar is. So Umar said, let me get it. Well, Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, give me permission, let me get rid of this man. Then he said, uh, Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, no, you're not going to get rid of him. Then Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam now invited Abdullah ibn Ubay. Then the report has come to me that he said this particular statement. Did you say it? Then Abdullah ibn Ubay started swearing. He knows that Prophet is going to deal with him. He said, no, wallahi, in his own mouth, in his own mouth, swearing with everything possible that he did not say it. Then Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam knew deep down that he said it. You understand? And the whole of the Sahaba, they were convinced that he said it. But because he said he's not, Umar is still insisting that, Prophet, let me get rid of this man. Prophet said, don't kill him. I do not want people to start bringing up the information that Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has now started killing his own people. You understand? Because those that are outside Islam, they are never going to understand what is happening within them. And you can imagine in that time that Prophet ﷺ was trying to bring up people, build Islam, someone should now be bringing up things that, Omar saying Parawo. This is how they will narrate it. The Prophet ﷺ was trying to protect the image of Islam. And for those that might say that protecting the image of Islam is not essential, just do no, don't just do anything if you are going to destroy the image of Islam. Even if what you are doing is right, as long as it's not compulsory, you don't do it if you know that it's going to affect the image of Islam. I don't know if you get what is happening here. So Prophet Salam now said that he should not be killed. So when they now started progressing. You understand? Then it's now said that Zayd ibn Harqam, he now became depressed that his testimony was denied. You understand? Because he knew what he had. Then soon after, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala now revealed Surah al-Munafiqun. In Surah Al-Munafiqun, Allah now said, يَقُولُونَ لَإِنْ رَجَعْنَا إِلَى الْمَدِينَةِ. The same statement that Zayd ibn Harqam reported that Abdullah ibn Ubay has said. Meaning that his testimony was rejected, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala testified to Zayd ibn Harqam. You can imagine that honor. Zayd ibn Harqam, he was his testimony against Abdullah ibn Ubay was rejected because Abdullah swore that he did not say that. Now Allah testified in the whole Quran up until this time we still recited, and about some minutes ago it is the full surah I still recited for us that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala testified that he said this particular statement. Allah questioned يقولون لئن رجعنا إلى المدينة ليخرجن الأعز من الأذل. If you understand Lugo, you know that if someone has not said it, Allah will not have consulted that statement like that. You understand? So another thing that I mentioned, I think in the last two classes, that it is very, very deeply amazing how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala quotes a lot of things in Quran to show you that the the death of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is actually a very big blow on the Ummah because revelation stopped. No rectification, no direct education. We just have to put ourselves on whatever has been revealed. Whatever has been revealed. Now, another thing that I want us to know is that whenever we are able to link a verse of the Quran with an incident in the Seerah, there is no doubt the incident happened. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. Allah revealed an incident about it and we're able to connect it and then it fits so well. There is definitely no doubt. And if all these things are very definite on our mind, that is no doubt, how can a Muslim doubt the spirit of Prophet Sallallahu? How can we hear that Prophet Sallallahu ask us to do something and we still do not do it? When we know that certainly he was alive, certainly he came, certainly the Quran was sent, certainly everything about him happened. What when we now hear that he said do this thing and then we still choose not to do it? Subhanallah. We are not doing so well if we find ourselves in this shoe. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us and make his life easy for us. So another thing, okay, as it Mario, Abdullah ibn Ubay, that's where we're going to stop after the incident. We're not going to do with slander of Aisha today. That will be next week, inshallah. So when they were now returning, okay, when this incident happened, the Prophet ﷺ said that he saw that the issue between them has tensed up. Prophet ﷺ now commanded everybody to start traveling. And instead of them to have a stopover while traveling, Prophet said, no, all of you are going to travel straight march to Medina. Then everybody started marching to Medina. To the extent that when they got to Medina, the reason behind this is that when they got to Medina, everybody was exhausted, that everybody slept off, and there was no room for chit chat about incidents that has happened. You understand? But then, before Prophet ﷺ came into Medina, the news has already reached Medina about what has happened. That Prophet ﷺ was on the verge of killing Abdullah ibn Ubay ibn Salul because of what he did, and then a lot of things happened. You know, information travels faster than human. So when they got there, it's now said that the son of Abdullah ibn Ubay ibn Salul. That's another thing that we must be cautious of learning in Seerah. the son of Abdullah ibn Ubay ibn Salul. He is named Abdullah also, and his name is Abdullah ibn Ubay ibn Salul. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. Abdullah ibn Ubay ibn Salul, that's the leader of Munafiq. He has a son named Abdullah ibn Ubay ibn Salul. And this particular son is not a Munafiq. His son is not a Munafiq. His son is a Muslim full of Iman, not unlike his father. And then when he now realized that his father has committed a great offense, saying this against Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and his judgment is to be killed. So, and Abdullah ibn Abdullah was not among those that went for the war. So he now came to meet Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam on his way. When he was coming in, he said, "Oh Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, I've heard the news of what my father have done, and I know that he deserves to be killed." You understand? Then he now said, one thing, one request that I have for you is that, I am not going to be able to bear him to see a man that killed my father walking around Medina. You cannot assign another person to kill this man, and I will wake up the next day knowing that this particular man who was walking around the city is the one that killed my man, killed my father. I will not be able to bear it, and I will kill that person. If I kill that person, that's a Muslim a Muslim death on my neck, and I'm going to end in Jahannam, and I do not want that. So just give me the permission to kill this man myself. I don't know if you understand. Now, a lot of things could be derived from statement he made. Like, okay, there is still some sense of jahiliyyah that kill me, I kill you, and you cannot kill my father. You know all these things that we explained before. There's still some sense, but the iman in him is so full that he knows that his own father deserves to be killed. And he wants to kill him to satisfy what to make the command of Prophet Sallallahu to be fulfilled without causing any further war or any further battle between the Sahaba. Because if you see someone that kill your father among the Muslims, you will never want to deal with that person to the end of time. After Allah. Even the person that killed Hamza, the uncle of Prophet, came to accept Islam. Prophet said, if this religion is mine, I will not. That is to show us that you are so attached to people. Like, so now talk of someone that now sees is the person that killed his father. Then Prophet ﷺ now told him, no, don't worry, we are not going to kill him. So when Prophet ﷺ now made final judgment that no, he's not going to kill, then Prophet ﷺ now left him. You understand? Now, it is said that the decision, the decision was not was not what Umar supported because Umar wanted to kill him. The rest of the Muslims they had to go with the judgment Prophet Muhammad that okay, let's leave him, let's not kill him. They now said that gradually, the Munafiqun, a good number of them, like a large percent, because Abdullah ibn Ubay is the main leader and he has many followers. If you cannot compare his follower, the number of his followers, 1,000 people were leaving for the Battle of Badr. When Abdullah ibn Ubay said that he's not going again, 300 people followed him. You understand this number of Munafiqun? He now said that gradually, a good number of Munafiqun, they now started growing in Iman because they now started seeing reality that this Abdullah ibn Ubay is just ready to misguide us. He's preaching against Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam while identifying as a Muslim. But Muhammad, Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam that is preaching about, his attitude is not what he's telling us. So they now started increasing in Iman that he said that very very minute people who could not even have their identity of monarchy to themselves. You know, when they were still many, you call them monarchy, Yawani, Kilika. But then they are very minute, and that was what eventually led to Sahib Sir. If you are able to connect with what I'm saying, that they were so small, the monarchic, that their names had to be written as a secret, that they were not identifiable again. You understand? Then Prophet Islam made their names a secret to what was the name of Sahib Sir Nabi? Emma that class.
Yaman.
Kuzaiba ibn
Thank
Yaman.
you.
Now, Jazakallah khair. Ibn Asini Kalanshi class agree. So, Kuzaiba ibn Yaman. So, I think what I connected now is well understood. So, Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, after seeing that a good number of Munafiqun have converted to Islam, he now called Umar one day. He now said, have you seen the wisdom of why I said you should not kill the state of Prophet Umar now said, that very day, I said to myself that the judgment of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is definitely going to be over my own judgment. You understand? He agreed that Even though he deserves to be killed, and you said we should not kill him, I know myself that what you have said has more wisdom than what I wanted to do. That is so much for to Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Then Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam now explained that if he has been killed that day, these particular people that you've seen that their iman has increased are definitely going to be increased in more enmity to you. I don't know if you get this type of if you understand, if you have this understanding. Wallahi, I have my own personal comprehension from this particular instance and this particular story in relation to what is happening in our time, where you see scholars different, like insulting themselves in a way that it is not, it is very, very horrible. And you learn that are you not learning from the Seerah that we protect our image, even though you can anybody be more wrong than someone who wants to attack, who subhanallah, who left the battle behind Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Can anyone be more wrong than someone who said that he's going to send the Muhajirun away when they get to Medina? So subhanallah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save us. And there are many, many wisdom why we need to be obedient to our leaders and why we need to learn from the Surah of Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. We are going to round this off by going through Surah Al-Munafiq. Ustaz have read this for us. Then we are just going to go through the meaning, then link it together and see more definition of Munafiq that last one Ta'ala mentioned. And I'm hopeful that it is beneficial. And I Ustaz, okay. Then like night I see the so the time is well spent and I believe it's going to be beneficial. So let me go through this verse quickly because if I allow another person to read it, it's going to take more time. And Ustaz Musa, you have to ask many questions to people before they leave today. And to say back question to my class, and see back question, if I know. So now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Al-Munafiq, Allah said, إِذَا جَاءَكَ الْمُنَافِقُونَ قَالُوا نَشْهَدُ إِنَّكَ لَرَسُولُ اللَّهِ. That, see, I want munafiki to buy one nabi. They say, ah, to buy no long. Wallahu ya'lamu innaka la rasulu. They make testification and you believe that you're not Muslim. Allah said, no, their testification is not needed. I know you are a prophet. You understand? Wallahu yashhadu innal munafiqina lakazibun. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not testifying that. You see all this munafiq, innal munafiqina lakazibun, they are all liars. Allah said, ittakhadhu aymanahum junnatan wa saddu an sabilillah. They take oaths as cover. So you think that they are Muslim. Fasaddu an sabilillah, and they turn away from the remembrance of Allah. They do not remember Allah. They why they come with salat, come with kusala. When they want to pray, they pray lazily. They pray for sin. Somebody pray jama pọ̀ lẹ́ni wọn sí mosque. One in the mosque, one in kírun. Torí education last one lọ́sẹ̀ ń kírun. They pray, they do Islam because of politics. These are munafiq. Allah said, innahum sa'a ma kanu ya'malun. Like gbogbo nǹkan tó ń ṣe ìwà burúkú gbà lélẹ̀. Allah now said, ذلك بأنهم آمنوا ثم كفروا فطبع على قلوبهم فهم لا يفقهون. ثم آمنوا ثم كفروا. I think this is in another verse also. Like they say they believe. Somebody gbàgbọ́ lé wọn nígbàgbọ́ lọ́la. So their hearts, so much that look for so their heart is sealed over. Pé wọ́n ṣe agbàgbọ́ lé ní agbàgbọ́ lé ní dé kọ́lọ́wọ́n bá sí lọ́kàn wọn pa kankan ò lè yé wọn. Fáwọn láyé kọ̀ọ̀hún, they never understand the real Islam in the beginning. Allah said, وَإِذَا رَأَيْتَهُمْ تُعْجِبُكَ أَجْسَامُهُمْ. Tẹ́ bá rí wọn báyìí, rírì wọn máa dùn rí o. Ẹ̀rù bẹ̀lẹ́sìn ni wọ́n ní pẹ̀lú bó ṣe wà. Let me not exaggerate. But then Allah says that when you see them, you think that physically seeing them, they have the best of the man. Allah said, وَإِن يَقُولُوا تَسْمَعْ لِقَوْلِهِمْ. And when you listen to them, you become mesmerized by their speech. Allah now said, كَهَنَّهُمْ رُشِبٌ مُسَنَّدَةٌ يَحْسَبُونَ كُلَّ صَيْحَةٍ عَلَيْهِمْ. This is an adage here telling us about their description. Allah said, Umul adu fahzaru, that they are enemies. So sure up, wallahi, the Munafiq have been in existence since that time, up until this time. When I see someone with a good outside behavior of Munafiq, I say, carry that's how I link it to them. Then it's not subhanallah. Allah subhanallah. Because how can you be a Muslim and you tell us that okay, you are the one killing people? Sharing all this of Boko Haram, killing, once they make you see them, they are clear Munafiq. They never understand Islam. When you see them, you can imagine kidnapping, balapata, opanyo, munafiki tó fojú hàn ní ọmọlẹ́yìn Abdullahi ibn Ubay yẹn gbàgbé. You cannot even come close to being recognized because your own attitude is so worse. And their death caused bad image to Islam. Subhanallah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, um, Humul adu, enemy like people you fahdarukum and beware of them. Qatalahumullah. May Allah destroy them. Anna yufakun. See how far they have been deluded. Allah said, Wa idha kila lahum ta'ala yastaghfir lakum rasulullah. Tọ́ba tí wọ́n bá wọn sọ̀rọ̀ tó ṣe wá sí fún wọn pé ànábì wà láyé ẹ wá bá nàbì kánábì tọrọ àforíjì fún ọlọ́run àforíjì yìí. Láwù yastaghfir lakum rasulullah. Láwù wà bí kò sàn wá sá lọ. Wàrà àyíká hum yasuduna wa hum mustakbirun. You see them turning away wa hum mustakbirun tó wà arrogant. Subhanallah. I said, Sawa'un alayhim astaghfara lahum. Ẹ lọ sọ pé whether ó tọrọ àforíjì fún anyone. Láyé ẹ̀kúrọ̀ lọ́hùn làhùn wípé ọlọ́run ní ṣàkóyèjì fún wọn iná láhàláyà lè kọ́ ọmọ ìgbọ̀nlẹ́mí iná láhàláyà lè kọ́ ọmọ ìfàsíkẹ́. Those who are defiantly disobedient, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not going to guide them. Allah said, Humul ladina yaqulun. They are the one that say, La ilaha illallah. There is more reality of there are many more details of Munafiq. Let's learn about fiqh. Let's learn about this. Let's go to madrasas so that we can have more knowledge about our religion. Allah said, Humul ladina yaquluna. They are the one that said, La tunfiqu ala man inda Rasulillah. They are never going to spend about whenever prophet require them to spend. Ṣẹ́rẹ́ Abdullahi ibn Ubay yìí, ṣé ànábì bá ti sọ pé kí àwọn Mùsùlùmí kọ́ kó zaka wa, ó máa ní, hey, owó yín ni o, sápá máa mú yín o. That's what he's going to be doing. You understand? Well, because of Shanuwa. So the same reality you see today. Allah said, last week they are never going to make any contribution. They are never going to spend it the cost of Allah. Hatta yanfadu walillahi khaza'inu samawati wal ard. Some people yóò mọ̀ pé Ọlọ́run ọba ni ó ń control gbogbo àfihàn sánmà àti ilẹ̀. Walakinna al-munafiqina la yafqahun. You see those munafiqs, they are never going to understand. Yaquluna la in raja'na ila al-Madina. They say that when we get to Medina, in that particular quote, we talked about the story today. Like janna al-a'antu min al-adhan. The honored one are going to send away the dishonored one, referring to the Ansar are going to send away Muhajir. Allah now said, Walillahi al-izzatu walil Rasul. All honors belong to Allah and His Messenger. Walil mu'minin, and the believing people. Walakin al-munafiqina la ya'lamun. Seerah wa munafiqin yuwama. They know nothing. Allah said, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. Ẹ̀yin gbàgbọ́ òdodo, la tulhikum amwalukum. Do not let all this thing in the world, do not let it divert you. Your money, your children, everything that you think you hold in this life, let it not divert you. And zikrillah, from the remembrance of Allah. Whoever does this, whoever is diverted away by his wealth and his anything, these are losers. Allah said, Allah said, from everything that we've given you, ensure that you spend from it. من قبل أن يأتي أحدكم الموت فيقول رب لولا أخرتني إلى أجل قريب. Before you start saying that, if you give me small time, I will do good. There's this video that is circulating yesterday. One bike man, story trailer. It is very descriptive about what is happening. Anybody can die at any time. Allah said, before death comes to you, before you start saying, Ya Rabbi, lawla akhartani ila ajalin qarib. If you delay me for a little more time, I will make sadaqah. No. If you want to make the sadaqah, make it when you have time like this. Make it, and that is more honorable, that is more rewarding for you. Any sadaqah you made on your deathbed, give away. Allah said, فَيَقُولَ رَبِّ لَوْلَا أَخَّرْتَنِي إِلَىٰ أَجَلٍ قَرِيبٍ فَأَصَدَّقَ وَأَكُن مِّنَ الصَّالِحِينَ. I will make contributions, I will spend. And you can spend anything. Spend your knowledge, especially on your offspring. You must be the first set of people to spend your knowledge on those that you are created. Okay, not created. Those that you give birth to, your family, you spend on them. You have wealth, you spend it in any form that you think you can benefit people, you have to keep benefiting. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says. When you do it in your prime, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to reward you beautifully. Allah said, وَلَنْ يُؤَخِّرَ اللَّهُ نَفْسًا إِذَا جَاءَ أَجَلُهَا. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is never going to give 1 second to his soul. In as much as what it has put in your when you hear Allah, we are not going to cause a delay for anybody when the time has come. إِذَا جَاءَ أَجَلُهَا وَاللَّهُ خَبِيرٌ بِمَا تَعْمَلُونَ. and Allah is aware of everything that you do. This is the definition of the entirety of Surah Al-Munafiq, linking it to the Seerah or the incident that happened after Banu Mustalat. I believe that it sits well. It tells us about the Sababu Nuzul of Surah Al-Munafiq, and we're able to benefit from being realistic about the reality of Munafiq and all the details that we mentioned. The one that we find in our own behavior, we should strive to fight against in every possible manner. If you are like if you are a liar, you are no you are one step closer to Munafiq. So stop lying so that you can be one step closer to Iman. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rectify our affairs. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make our lessons easier. May Allah accept all these as an act of ibadah from us that are learning and those of us that are teaching ourselves. Uh, what else? We'll continue with the incidents. Another main lesson to be learned caused by this same Munafiq next week about the slander, heinous slander of our mother Aisha radiallahu anha. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. آمين ثم آمين. Yeah, next week we continue with this issue. Wallahi, I don't know, but sometimes when you read something, but it's just keep the meaning anytime you listen to it. There's only two things that can happen that way: the Quran and when you listen to the incidents in the time of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And sometimes I do say that we are just privileged to to be a Muslim and not just to be a Muslim, to be an understanding Muslim. Because who am I? Why should I? Even the person that loved the Prophet the most, his uncle, could not actually become a Muslim. So that is why every time you need this prayer that the Prophet Sallallahu used to say, Allahumma Askamullah, Askamullah. I've forgotten the prayer. Hey, but that is very common. Okay, let me go for another one. Allah, don't leave me in thinking of eye. Hi, my brain. Sorry. Maybe because my brain is already sleeping. Well, just to round up the class for tonight, I think we started with about 10 people, but only seven could remain here. And even the seven I'm seeing here, all of you are you are top guys in terms of Islamic knowledge. So I will not want to shame myself by asking you questions, but I want to do like my boss asked me to do. But before doing that, I'm going to ask is anyone having a question or two, one or two before we ask do like a summary or revision for ourselves. Is there any question? Any question, please? Brother Faiz, Sister Amina, Brother Mustafa, Sister Rahma, Sheikh Abdul Batin, Yakumullah, and Sister Hamna. I don't leave any other question. Well, in the absence of the question, like I said earlier, I know most of us say we are top this, but just like a revision for ourselves, I guess we spoke mostly on Bano Mustola, but the stars mentioned that there are two major incidents that we could learn from in this um, expenditure of Muraysi. So I don't know. I would love one person each to give us a recap of one of the incidents. Like you can also type it down. So let me start from the Faiz. You can just give us one of these incidents that we learned from the expenditure of Muraysi. But our Faiz stay with us. So the sisters in the house, I know most of you don't want to talk, so you can decide to type in the chat box. That is also appreciated. But I find okay, I don't know if you see it was um but Ustaz Mustafa Al Hafid Al Muhaddis Al Muhandis. Okay, no problem. But Mustafa, I don't know if you could remind us one of these incidents.
No, no. Just can you repeat the question?
Okay. Why Ustaz was narrating the incident of Muraysi, he said there are three major things that happened after the expedition that we could derive lessons from. So I just want to give us a recap of one of these lessons or one of those incidents as the situation may be.
Um, not sure I understand it or I listen towards that part, but some of the lessons or some of the incidents
Yeah, incident. Let's keep it as incident.
after the battle,
After the expedition,
after so some of the marriage of the prophet Muhammad.
yeah,
Yeah.
we from uh, to be a Muslim, collected the yeah